Neopets is known for a few things. It was a pioneer for the virtual pet site format. It's infamous for its crazy inflation rates. It's known for me making a couple videos about it because I refuse to shut up about it. But there's one pretty big thing that Neopets wears a badge of dishonor for. It's known for getting hacked. Multiple times. And it recently got hacked again. So let's roll that speed paint, and maybe you want to keep watching if you still have an existing Neopets account, because what I say could very well affect you. Let's get into a little history lesson so I can set the story for you. Among the user base of Neopets, the site's code is known as, quote, spaghetti code. For those of you that don't speak technical jargon, spaghetti code is code that is difficult to maintain because it's badly written. Usually it's when multiple developers work on this code over a long period of time, but the code will have different bizarre coding styles in it, there'll be tons of small errors, and it'll look like it was coded by people that basically don't know what they're doing. So we're already off to a great start here. It's very well known that the source code of Neopets is an absolute dumpster fire. In 2013 is when Neopets experienced its first big upset. While it wasn't a data breach per se, it was still pretty bad. Hackers were caught selling accounts and pets of 26 million accounts. 26 million. I have a video talking all about the Neopets black market I'll leave in the cards, as I won't get into it in this video, but you would think after discovering millions of accounts were hacked into and sold, Neopets would have upped their security at least a little bit. No. Basically, Neopets said it's your fault for getting your account hacked because you probably shared your password somewhere. Great work, guys. Surely there won't be a full-on data breach 3 years from this large-scale hack. You would have never guessed it, but in 2016, 3 years after the large-scale hack, Neopets had its first data breach. This time, not only were tens of millions of accounts hacked and sold on the Neopets black market, which is still insane to believe that Neopets is relevant enough to have a black market, but instead of just their accounts being at risk, personal information was also at risk. Because the database was leaked, a slew of information was gathered from every account, and not just usernames and passwords. I'm talking information like email addresses used to sign up to the site, IP addresses that were accessing the site, and credit card information that was used to purchase Neocash. Now that's pretty horrifying. Forget your virtual pets, these hackers were trying to steal your real-life money. Any passwords that were shared with Neopets had to be changed immediately. Because the hackers had access to user email addresses, they could try logging into other sites with the same credentials to see if they could get in. I'm talking about online banking sites, credit card sites, PayPal, real evil things. Now, after 2016, the most logical course of action to any person with a brain would be to invest more in your cybersecurity team so nothing like this would ever happen again. And I'm sad to announce that no one on the Neopets team has a brain, because on July 19th, 2022, Neopets had another data breach. And this time, it's worse. A hacker who had live access to the Neopets database posted an ad to a popular hacker forum to sell the data they hacked from Neopets for 4 Bitcoin, which is about 94,000 USD. Not only are crypto bros literally society's cockroaches, but the hacker claimed to have some pretty sensitive information from the breach. The data they claim to have and plan to sell for millions includes gender, zip codes, full names, addresses, nationalities, IP addresses, birthdays, email addresses, and password hashes. Do you want to guess how many accounts were affected by this breach? Here, I'll give you a moment to guess. Got a number in your head? Okay, great. So 69 million accounts were affected by this recent breach. And you know what? I honestly can't tell if that's true or if that's just the hackers attempted a meme. This whole thing is so ridiculous I'm not sure what's real anymore. What I do know is that the breach itself is very real. While it's not currently verified the hacker had all the information they claim to have, they at least have email addresses, passwords, IP addresses, and birthdays from all the accounts affected, which is still a lot of sensitive information to have. Once again, if users with the Neopets account that still exists on the site have a password that is the same as any other password they use elsewhere, they had to immediately change it. That also goes for everyone watching this video. If you have some old Neopets account, even if you no longer use it, if it's still active on the site and you use the same or even a very similar password there that you use for other more important sites, Change your passwords now because your account could have been affected. Neopets can and will haunt you from beyond the grave. Make sure you protect yourself. Now, I said that users had to quickly change their passwords on other accounts, but what about their Neopets account? Shouldn't those have been the first passwords that should have been changed? And while that makes total sense, the answer is no. That would have literally done nothing. Why? Because as I mentioned, the breach was live. The hacker had constant live access to every change that was made in the database. If you tried to change your password, well, they could just send a new query and now they have the new password, but also your old password. The same went for any information that users tried to change on the site. It was literally useless because the hacker had a live broadcast of the database and could just constantly send new queries. And I know I'm talking in past tense here, but as of July 26, when I'm writing the script, we have no idea if that's still true or not. The hacker could very well still have live access to the database a whopping 7 days later. The Neopets team hasn't given any update aside from saying, oops, sorry, our site got hacked again. We're working with the leading forensics firm now. Maybe change your passwords. We promise this probably most likely will not happen again for a third time. So there's a non-zero chance the hacker is still just chilling with the live database, and none of us have any idea because TNT is so painfully incompetent. Speaking of the incompetence of the Neopets team, you would think that if you had a massive data breach like this one, that you would rush to put out a statement and warn your users about it. Well, like I said, TNT doesn't have any brain cells, because if it sounds smart or like it's a good idea, I can guarantee you they won't do it. So how did the majority of users find out about the data breach? Well, better hope you were following the most popular Neopets fan site, Jelly Neo, because they were the first ones to break the news about it. That's right, a literal fan site broke the news about a massive and dangerous data breach to Neopets users before Neopets itself did. And you know what? Jelly Neo is super cool because while they're a Neopets fan site, they were a hardcore rally against that whole Neopets doing NFTs nonsense, but we won't get into that here. Just know Jelly Neo is the GOAT. Anyway, while it was great of Jelly Neo to quickly get the word out there, that makes this situation even more ridiculous. For starters, not everyone who actively uses Neopets follows the fan site for it. Not only that, but what about people who have inactive accounts on the site? Do you think if they don't use Neopets, they're really going to be checking out the fan site for updates? No! Well, I guess maybe. There might have been like one person who reads Jelly Neo like a newspaper for some reason. But no! Neopets itself didn't make an official announcement until hours after Jelly Neo did. Which, if your password is compromised, especially when you use on other more important sites, time to change it is of the essence. Neopets was really just sitting around dick in hand letting their fan site do all the work. So where does this leave us now? Well, first off, no one has any idea if the breach is still live or not, like I said. To the shock of no one, the Neopets team hasn't been keeping people updated aside from their original statement. Jelly Neo has been doing its best to post updates, but since they don't know what's been going on behind the scenes, all they can post so far are updates like, Neopets has not made another statement, breach could still be live, sorry guys, we're trying our best. When the majority of the user base heard the news, I saw a lot of funny memes going around. Like people posting boards such as, quote, hey hacker, did you get the games too? I'll pay you for just the Flash games. And also boards like, quote, trade pets with me while we still can. And those made me laugh a lot, so shout out to those people. But I also saw a lot of people discussing about how unacceptable this breach was and how it was handled, and a lot of people were saying this was the final straw to make them quit. And like, you can't blame them. I only say because I like watching the dumpster fire, but to the 5 people who still actually enjoy playing on the site in their free time, enough is just enough at this point. I'm joking, but like seriously. I don't expect Neopets to completely shut down over this, but between this being the 3rd time it was hacked and people having enough of their bullshit, if it did finally close, it literally wouldn't surprise me at all. I'm surprised it even lasted this long, especially with its terrible, awful spaghetti code. In fact, I'm also surprised someone would even want to hack Neopets. This whole situation is silly. All of it. Change your passwords if you have a Neopets account, folks. Stay safe. Anyway, if you made it this far, thanks so much for watching. If you liked the video or think the Neopets team is stupid, it means so much to me if you could subscribe and like this video. And remember everyone, always invest in cybersecurity, and always make sure you change your passwords frequently, and have two-factor authentication on whenever possible. I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys!